Hey there, I'm Jenny and I'm 29 years old. Yup, this is going to be one of those mother-in-law stories, but trust me, today's tale comes with a sweet twist of revenge that'll leave you grinning from ear to ear. So, where do I begin? Marcus, my rock, my partner in crime, and yup, my husband. We've been rocking this marriage boat for a solid year now, but our journey began way before that. Picture this. It was a typical rainy day, and there I was, stuck in line at the grocery store, fumbling with my umbrella like a lost puppy. And that's when I bumped into him, literally. Enter Marcus with his charm. He helped me pick up my scattered groceries, and before I knew it, we were chatting like old pals. It turned out that he lived just a few blocks away from me. Fate, right? From that day on, Marcus became a regular in my life. Our relationship wasn't always smooth sailing. We had our fair share of ups and downs like any other couple, but through it all, Marcus was my constant. But then came the moment of truth, meeting his family. So Marcus already gave me the lowdown on his family. Tracy, his mom, well, let's just say she could be a bit of a challenge. Marcus warned me about her and said that she had a tough past that made her a little rough around the edges. His dad passed away a couple of years before I met him in an unfortunate accident, so it was just Marcus, Tracy, and his younger brother Austin, who was fresh out of college when I first met him. The first dinner with Marcus's family was an interesting affair. So you're the lucky lady Marcus has been raving about. Yeah, that's me. It's nice to finally meet you, Tracy. Oh, I'm sure it is. Marcus has quite the taste in women, or so I've heard. Mom, come on. Tell me, Jenny, what do your parents do for a living? Well, my dad's a plumber and my mom works in a bookstore. A plumber and a bookstore clerk? How quaint. I suppose that explains a lot about you. Marcus tells me you're a writer. What kind of books do you write? Oh, a bit of everything, really. Fiction, non-fiction, you name it. I hope you're good at cooking, though. Marcus's ex-girlfriend used to make the most delicious lasagna. Mom, that's uncalled for. Let's keep it friendly. Well, after hearing about your background, Jenny, I think the bill will be on me tonight. You must already be draining so much of my son's money. It's not like you're used to seeing much of it, right? That woman was brutal. She had this way of making me feel small, like I was constantly under a microscope, being judged for every little thing. Marcus apologized for her behavior countless times, but it didn't make things any easier. I didn't see much of Marcus's mom before we tied the knot. With Tracy living with Marcus, it just never felt right to broach the topic of us moving in together. It was like we both knew what the answer would be, so why bother asking? Anyway, despite the whole living situation, Marcus popped the question, and I said yes without a second thought. Sure, I had my doubts, especially with Tracy's constant presence looming over us, but Marcus reassured me, saying Tracy just had some issues to work through, especially with her husband passing. And then came the bombshell, telling Tracy we were getting married. She threw the biggest tantrum I've ever seen. It was like something out of a soap opera. Oh, spare me the charade, Jenny. You think you're worthy of my son? You with your poor background and your pitiful excuses for accomplishments. He deserves better than a woman like you. You're nothing but a gold digger. And as for this wedding you're so keen on, don't even bother. I won't lift a finger to help plan it. Why would I waste my time and energy on a union destined for failure? You'll see, Jenny, Marcus will come to his senses soon enough. And when he does, I'll be here to pick up the pieces of his shattered heart. So go ahead and have your little ceremony. Yeah, those words from Tracy, they stung, no doubt about it. But Marcus, bless his heart, had already made up his mind. He told me straight up if Tracy wouldn't apologize to me, she wouldn't be allowed at the wedding. Talk about a bold move, right? But that's just Marcus for you. Always standing up for what's right. So yeah, Marcus made Tracy apologize to me. It wasn't easy, and I could see the resentment in her eyes, but she did it. And you know what? I decided to give her another chance. Call me crazy, but I saw a glimmer of hope there. The wedding day rolled around, and despite all the drama, it was a happy day. But it also meant officially moving in with Marcus and Tracy. I was still so confused, questioning everything from saying yes to Marcus to the whole idea of marriage itself. But Tracy's apologies seemed to change things, at least for a little while. Life settled into a routine. Marcus would leave for work in the early hours, leaving me alone with Tracy. And let me tell you, those mornings were anything but peaceful. Tracy had this way of getting under my skin, like she was constantly testing my patience. From passive-aggressive comments about my cooking to questioning my choices about pretty much everything, she made sure I knew who was in charge. And then there were the little things like rearranging my meticulously organized kitchen cabinets or accidentally spilling wine on my favorite blouse. It was like she was determined to make my life as difficult as possible. But perhaps the worst part was the constant criticism. Nothing I did was ever good enough for Tracy, whether it was how I decorated the living room or the way I folded the laundry. She always found something to nitpick about. And don't even get me started on the snide remarks about my career. According to Tracy, writing was just a hobby, not a real job. But despite it all, I tried to keep the peace. I didn't want to cause any tension between Marcus and his mom. Tracy always seemed to bring trouble into our home, but things had gotten worse. 2 months into our marriage, when Marcus got a promotion, I was thrilled for him. But that night, as I lay in bed, Marcus came in with a serious look on his face. Well, I had a chat with Mom earlier, and she said something that got me a bit worried. Oh, what did she say? She mentioned that you're not too happy about my promotion. Is that true? What? No, Marcus, that's not true at all. I'm thrilled about your promotion. Why would she say something like that? That's what I was wondering too. She also mentioned that you've been talking to your friend about me, saying some not so nice things. I can't believe she'd say that. Marcus, I might have expressed some concerns to my friend, but I would never speak ill of you behind your back. I was just worried about how things might change with your new role at work, but I'm proud of you. I knew there had to be some misunderstanding. The next day, after Marcus left for work, I knew I had to confront Tracy about eavesdropping on my conversation with a friend. But when I brought it up, Tracy completely ignored me, as if it had never happened. Around the time of Marcus's promotion, he wanted to throw a party for his colleagues. I offered to cook for everyone, which Marcus thought was a lovely gesture. I made sure to be extra cautious because a couple of his co-workers were allergic to peanuts. But despite my efforts, something unimaginable occurred at the party. One of Marcus's co-workers started having an allergic reaction, but luckily, he had his EpiPen with him. However, the second co-worker's reaction was severe, and they had to be rushed to the hospital to prevent any further complications. The atmosphere at the party turned tense, and no one felt like eating after that. Marcus was understandably upset about the whole ordeal, and the party ended on a bad note, with everyone leaving early. Marcus, we need to address what happened at the party. I hate to say it, but Jenny was incredibly irresponsible. I already told you she was not happy about this promotion, and she found a way to ruin your day. What are you talking about? Jenny did everything she could to ensure the food was safe. Someone ended up in the hospital. Marcus, I swear I did everything right. I don't know how this happened. Marcus, I've been saying all along that Jenny can't be trusted. She's always been careless. Let's not jump to conclusions, Mom. Jenny, I understand you did your best, but you need to be careful in the future, honey. I think I need some time to rest. Marcus left the living room, leaving me and Tracy alone. You know, Jenny, I hate to say this, but Marcus was really disappointed about the party. You ruined it for him. Tracy, I've been careful with everything, including the food. I don't know how this is possible. Did you do something to... Oh, please, Jenny. How dare you speak to me like that? Stop trying to shift the blame. You're just projecting your own mistakes onto others. Looking back on all the times Tracy tried to make me look bad, I'm amazed by how Marcus always had my back. He's the sweetest and most caring person I know. Even when Tracy tried to break us apart, Marcus stayed by my side, believing in me like no one else did. About 6 months ago, I had a big meeting with a publisher for a new kids book I was writing. Marcus had just left for work when Tracy showed up in my room saying she felt sick and asking for tea. Even though I was in a rush, I made it for her and offered to take her to the hospital, but she said no, she just wanted to rest. When I got back from my meeting, things were crazy. Marcus sat there, his face clouded with worry, and when I asked him what was wrong, he told me that Tracy was missing and wasn't answering her phone. I felt a knot form in my stomach. I remembered her saying that she wasn't feeling well earlier, and now I started to worry too. We decided to reach out to people we knew, including Austin, to see if anyone had heard from Tracy. Then, around 11 that night, Tracy returned. "Mom, where were you? We were worried sick." "Oh, Marcus, I'm sorry. I had to go to the hospital. I had to walk back from there because there were no taxis and my phone died, so I couldn't pick up your calls." "I offered to take you to the hospital. Why did you say no?" "Before Jenny left for work, I begged her to take me to the hospital, but she refused. I had to go alone." "Jenny, is this true?" "That's not what happened." "I'm not lying, Marcus. Jenny is just trying to cover up for her negligence." "But Jenny has always been honest with me." After that incident at the hospital, things got really tense. It was Marcus's mom against his wife, and I couldn't blame Marcus for feeling torn. He'd known me for only 4 years compared to his whole life with his mom. It would have been easy for him to doubt me, even though he was trying not to. He knew his mom could be difficult, but why would someone go to such lengths to lie and put someone else down? It didn't make sense. Anyway, after that, everything took a different turn. After my meeting, my publisher asked me to co-write a book with another writer, Cole. Suddenly, we were co-workers. It was a big change. Tracy, on the other hand, stayed in her room. Ever since the hospital incident, Tracy and I hadn't really been talking, so I didn't bother telling her that I was working with Cole. Just as Cole was about to leave, Tracy barged into my study without knocking. "What's happening, Jenny? Who is this?" "Calm down. It's just a work thing. Let me introduce you. Tracy, this is Cole. He's the guy I'm writing my book with." "Nice to meet you, Tracy." "Well, I'm Jenny's mother-in-law. I hope you know Jenny is already married. Also, Jenny, why don't you have the ring on your finger?" I must have taken it off while showering earlier. I didn't realize I forgot to put it on. "Well, it was nice meeting you, Tracy, but I was actually just leaving." "All right, then. If you guys are writing the book together, I think I'll be seeing more of you, Cole." "Yes, definitely." Interesting. And Marcus knows about all of this?" "Yes, I already told Marcus about it." "All right, just making sure everyone's on the same page." After that incident with Cole, I tried to be careful. I didn't want to give Tracy any reason to cause trouble between me and Marcus again, but she got out of hand. It felt like she was always watching me, especially when I interacted with other men. It was like she had a new approach to targeting me. She made me feel like I was doing something wrong just by talking to other men. One time, Marcus's friend came over to help fix something in the house. Tracy hovered around us the whole time, making me feel uncomfortable. Another time, Austin was visiting, and we were all sitting in the living room chatting, and Tracy kept making snide comments about how friendly I was being with him. It was so embarrassing, and Marcus noticed it too. I could tell he was getting frustrated with his mom's behavior. Being around Tracy was really tough for me. I didn't want to bother Marcus with it because he had a lot going on with his new role after the promotion, so I hoped Tracy would just get bored of trying to catch me doing something she didn't like. But everything changed 2 months ago on my birthday. Marcus suggested we throw a party at our house and invite our close friends and family, and I loved the idea. Tracy hated it, of course. She didn't like the spotlight being on me, but I tried to ignore her negativity and focus on the party. On the morning of my birthday, I found Marcus had already made my favorite breakfast for me. Tracy was there too, sitting in the living room and giving me angry looks. But I didn't let it ruin my day. After breakfast, Marcus disappeared upstairs and returned with a small present. Tracy watched the whole situation intently, and when I opened the gift, tears welled up in my eyes. Inside was a cute vintage necklace, but that wasn't the only surprise I had. I'd been keeping a secret for 3 days. I found out I was pregnant just 3 days ago. I had noticed some symptoms and took 2 pregnancy tests to confirm. Even my friend, who's a doctor, confirmed it. I wanted to have a little surprise for Marcus on my birthday as well. I was supposed to reveal the news later that night after the party, but the emotions overwhelmed me. Oh my, Marcus, the necklace must have set you back a pretty penny. She's worth every cent, Mom. Jenny's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and she deserves the world. Marcus, I have something to tell you, but I was planning to wait until later. But there's no other way to say this. I'm pregnant. Jenny, this better not be a joke. Are you serious? Yes, you are going to be a dad. You have made me the happiest man on this planet. I love you so much. Are you kidding me? How is that even happy news? First you marry a girl like her, and now you're having a child? What are you thinking, Marcus? Are you even sure the child is yours? Haven't you seen the way Jenny is around other men, especially that co-worker of hers? What's his name, Cole? You're being naive, Marcus. You don't know what she's capable of. I wouldn't trust her if I were you. She's trouble. Mark my words. Mom, I won't listen to you bad-mouthing Jenny. She's the woman I love, and I won't let you disrespect her. Disrespect her? I'm just trying to protect you, Marcus. You're making a mistake by staying with her. How can you even accuse Jenny of such things? Enough is enough, Mom. This is your grandchild that you're talking about. I can't believe this. I'm not going to let you ruin today. Go wherever you want to, but please don't be at the party tonight. Fine, if that's how you want it. Marcus watched as Tracy stormed out of the room. Don't worry, Jenny. We'll have a wonderful party tonight, just us and our loved ones. I'm sorry about my mom. After Tracy left an hour before the party, everything went well. We didn't share the news of my pregnancy yet, but the birthday celebration was great. Despite that, I couldn't shake off the hurt from Tracy's words earlier, but I wanted to focus on being happy for Marcus and our baby. After the party ended, Marcus helped me clean up before heading upstairs for sleep. Tracy had returned home by then, and later, while getting a midnight snack in the kitchen, I bumped into her. Do you think you can hide your secrets from me? I'll expose you in front of Marcus and everyone else. Tracy, what are you talking about? There's nothing to expose. Don't play innocent with me, Jenny. I've seen the way you look at other men. You're up to something, and I'm going to make sure Marcus knows the truth. He deserves to know who he's really married to. I could tell that Tracy was deeply hurt after being asked to leave the birthday party, so when she lashed out at me with harsh words, I tried to brush them off. But little did I know that Tracy was about to take things to a whole new level. The next day, as I headed to the grocery store, I noticed Tracy's car following me. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, but it kept tailing me wherever I went, and when I tried to confront her at the store, she tried to hide. But I saw her. I was furious. It felt like a massive invasion of my privacy. When Tracy returned home hours later, she refused to tell me where she had been, adding to my frustration. A few days later, I had to visit the doctor with Marcus and then head to the publishing house for some work. And once again, Tracy was following me. And that night, I could not shake off the feeling of being watched. I knew I had to talk to Marcus about it. When I finally brought it up, Marcus was shocked. He could not believe his own mother would do something like that. I knew I needed to get back at Tracy, and I had exactly what I needed to do in mind. But it would be a big ask, a very big one from Marcus. There's something I haven't mentioned about Tracy yet, a big secret that she's been keeping. She had a secret, one that only Marcus and Tracy knew about. Marcus confided in me about it because he shared everything with me. Years ago, when Marcus was just 11, he found out that Tracy had been cheating on his dad. And to make it worse, the guy Tracy had been cheating with, Bob, wasn't just anyone. He was Austin's real father. Tracy was open about it with Marcus because he had caught her in the act, but she couldn't bring herself to tell her husband, Marcus's dad. Marcus was torn between telling his dad and Austin, who didn't even know he wasn't Marcus's real brother. Tracy begged Marcus to keep the secret, and it weighed heavily on him. He regretted lying to his father and his brother, but he believed it was better for his dad not to know, as it would have made life unbearable for him. Despite Bob's desire to meet Austin and be a part of his life, Tracy convinced him it was best to keep their distance to avoid complications. Tracy was a master manipulator and a liar. You know, I've been thinking, with everything that's been going on lately, do you think it's finally time? Time for what exactly? Well, you've always wanted to tell Austin about his real dad, but we've been holding back. But now, with Tracy's recent behavior accusing me of things she's guilty of herself, don't you think it's time to come clean? Yeah, Tracy's really crossed the line with all this. So, do you think it's time to have that conversation with Bob? And if he's okay with it, can we finally tell Austin the truth? It would be really hard for Austin, but you know, I've been mulling it over, and I think you're right. Mom's actions have made it clear that it's time to set things straight. And reaching out to Bob wouldn't be too difficult. I still have his number saved. I don't want to pressure you into doing anything, Marcus, but for Austin's sake, and for Tracy to face the truth, I think it's the right thing to do. If you're not comfortable with it, just say the word and I'll drop the idea. No, Jenny, I think it's time. Mom's accusations have gone too far, especially when she's hiding her own secrets. It's unfair to keep letting her control our lives, but how do we go about it? Do you trust me, Marcus? Absolutely, Jenny. Then let me handle it. Give me Bob's number and I'll take care of the rest. I took Bob's number from Marcus and had a conversation with him on the phone. We arranged to meet the next day for a cup of coffee in the afternoon, but then I had realized that Tracy wouldn't let up and would likely follow me. I hoped she would see me with Bob and realize that I was aware of the situation and had control over it rather than her controlling me. It was time to assert myself and put an end to Tracy's manipulative behavior once and for all. The next day, I slipped out of the house telling Tracy I was meeting an old friend. She seemed suspicious, and I was fine with it because I needed her to follow me. As I drove, I stopped at a restaurant and waited, and soon enough, Tracy's car pulled up outside. I could not help but chuckle at the situation. Tracy thought she was being sneaky, but I knew she was following me. She tried to disguise herself with sunglasses and odd clothes as she entered the restaurant. But then Bob came over. I explained everything to him, and he agreed to meet Austin. Meanwhile, I noticed Tracy sitting across the restaurant, looking shocked and pale. I knew she had realized her secret was out, and after my chat with Bob, I returned home. Tracy was waiting for me. Her behavior was tense and uneasy. Jenny, we need to talk. What's up, Tracy? Look, I know you know. Please just tell me who told you. Oh, Tracy, don't you know? I've always known. Please, Jenny, you can't tell anyone. You can't tell Austin. Why should I keep your secret after everything you've put me through? Jenny, please, I'm begging you. I'll do anything. Anything? Like apologize for all the lies and manipulation? Yes, anything. Just please don't tell Austin. You've treated me like dirt since the day we met, Tracy. Why should I do you any favors now? I know I've made mistakes, but please, Jenny, don't ruin everything. Please don't let this secret out. Ruin everything? You mean like you've been trying to ruin my life? I didn't mean to hurt you, Jenny. I was just trying to protect my family. Tracy, you talk about protecting your family, but look at what you've done. You've been trying to destroy your own son's marriage, and for what? Your own selfish reasons? You've been lying to Austin his entire life, keeping him in the dark about who his real father is? You've lied to your husband. You've already ruined one family, Tracy, and now you're trying to ruin mine? I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Oh, please spare me the excuses. You knew exactly what you were doing. Tracy, I know you've never been fond of me, but seriously, fabricating lies and putting people's lives at risk, like what happened at the promotion party just to stir trouble between Marcus and me, do you really think that's acceptable? All the problems you've tried to sow between us since our wedding day? Are you proud of that? Well, it's all catching up to you now. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Bob wants to meet Austin too. It's unbelievable that you've kept a father from his son all these years just to hide your own infidelity. Jenny, please, let's discuss this. There's nothing left to discuss, Tracy. Tracy ran upstairs in tears, and while part of me felt sorry for her, I also felt a bit relieved. She's been making things tough for me since I got married to Marcus. But now it seemed like her secrets were catching up with her. When Marcus got back from work that evening, Tracy tried to talk him out of it, but Marcus wouldn't change his mind. Late into the night, Marcus and I discussed whether we were doing the right thing by informing Austin. I wondered if Tracy had learned her lesson from the scare earlier, but Marcus believed that Austin deserved to know the truth at this point. So Marcus called Austin and asked him to come over on the weekend for a chat. Tracy did everything she could to stop us during the week, but we didn't let her get in the way. Finally, the weekend came and Austin showed up as planned, and the truth was out. How could this happen? I've been kept in the dark for so long. I know, Austin. I should have told you earlier, but Mom asked me not to. It was a complicated situation. You can blame me all you want. This isn't on you, Marcus. You're my brother and I know you. But Mom? You've always been selfish. This is like my whole world crumbling down. Please forgive me, my son. I know I've been selfish. Can we try to make things right? I don't know if I can, Mom. What about Bob? I want to meet him. I'm partially relieved that Dad isn't here to see this. He would have been heartbroken. It's like everything I've known has been a lie. How could you do this to us, Mom? I can't even look at you the same way anymore. But meeting Bob might bring some closure. Finally knowing the truth about my real father. It's just hard to wrap my head around all of this. I need time to process everything and figure out where to go from here. Yeah, Bob has been wanting to meet you for ages, but Tracy didn't allow it. I'm not surprised. Jenny and I will support you when you meet Bob. Absolutely. We're here for you. Well, I have made a decision. Mom, you can't stay with me and Jenny anymore. I believe you have sufficient funds to move out and get a place of your own. So you better do it. It's time for both of us to move on and live our own lives separately. This isn't healthy for any of us. I can't keep enabling this behavior. Please, Marcus. Austin, listen to me. I know I've made mistakes, but I'm your mother. I have nowhere else to go. I've been a terrible mother, I know, but I'm begging you to forgive me. Neither Marcus nor Austin have forgiven Tracy yet. After all the chaos Tracy caused, things are finally calming down. Tracy left 2 weeks ago, and since then it's been much quieter around here. After all the trouble she caused, it's almost a relief to see things turning out this way. I'm glad she's no longer part of our lives, and it's a bit of a relief knowing that she's out of our hair now. Austin got to meet his real dad, Bob, which was a big moment for him. We're doing our best to support Austin during this time because we understand that he's been deeply affected by everything that's happened. Marcus and I are focusing on creating a nice, calm home for our baby. We've decided to keep things drama-free from now on without Tracy's constant turmoil. It's just been a relief to have some peace and quiet. We're feeling hopeful about the future and excited to welcome our baby into the world.